The marble floors of Henderson Technologies gleamed under the crystal chandeliers as Keisha Williams pushed her cleaning cart through the executive wing. At 19, she had been working as a maid for the tech giant for 8 months, earning barely enough to support herself and her younger brother Marcus after their grandmother passed away. The early morning shift suited her schedule, allowing her to attend community college classes in the afternoon while studying computer science. Keisha had always been different from other kids in her neighborhood. While they played outside, she spent hours at the local library, fascinated by programming books and technology magazines. Her teachers recognized her exceptional talent early, but financial hardships forced her to drop out of high school to work. The cleaning job at Henderson Technologies was supposed to be temporary, just until she could save enough money to complete her education. The executive floor buzzed with unusual activity for 6 in the morning. Normally, Keisha worked alone, listening to programming podcasts through her earbuds while she cleaned. Today, however, she noticed lights blazing from the corner office belonging to CEO Marcus Henderson, a man known for his innovative leadership and the company's meteoric rise in the artificial intelligence sector. Through the glass walls, she could see Mr. Henderson pacing frantically, his usually perfect silver hair disheveled. Phone calls echoed from his office, and, even from the hallway, Keisha could hear the stress in his voice. Multiple laptops covered his desk, their screens displaying what appeared to be error messages and cascading red alerts. As Keisha approached to clean the adjacent conference room, she overheard fragments of his conversation with the chief technology officer. The company's flagship AI system, which powered smart home devices for millions of customers worldwide, had suffered a catastrophic failure. The system was stuck in an infinite loop, causing devices to malfunction across the globe. Customers were flooding the support lines with complaints about their smart thermostats, security systems, and voice assistants behaving erratically. The financial implications were staggering. Each hour of downtime cost the company approximately $2 million in lost revenue, refunds, and potential lawsuits. The technical team had been working around the clock for 3 days, but none of their solutions had resolved the core issue. Stock prices were plummeting, and major clients were threatening to terminate their contracts. Keisha paused her cleaning, genuinely concerned about the crisis unfolding before her. She had been following Henderson Technologies' AI development through tech blogs and had even studied their published research papers as part of her self-directed learning. The company's approach to machine learning algorithms fascinated her, and she had often wondered about potential vulnerabilities in their system architecture. Mr. Henderson ended another heated phone call and slammed his hand on his desk in frustration. The board of directors was demanding immediate answers, and the media had begun reporting on the widespread device malfunctions. Competitors were already capitalizing on the situation, offering alternative solutions to Henderson's clients. From her position in the hallway, Keisha could see the error logs displayed on one of his monitors. Her heart raced as she recognized patterns in the code that reminded her of a programming challenge she had encountered while studying recursive functions. The cascading failures seemed to follow a specific sequence that she had seen before in her textbooks. The cleaning cart rattled slightly as her hands trembled with nervous energy. She knew she was just a maid, invisible to the executives who passed her daily without acknowledgement. Her voice had never mattered in this building, and suggesting a solution to a $100 million crisis seemed absurd. Yet, something deep inside her whispered that she might understand what the highly paid engineers were missing. Mr. Henderson's next phone call was with the company's insurance provider, discussing the potential cost of the crisis. The conversation revealed that if the system wasn't restored within 24 hours, the company faced bankruptcy. Decades of innovation and thousands of jobs hung in the balance. Keisha took a deep breath and made a decision that would change everything. She approached the CEO's office, her heart pounding so loudly she was sure everyone could hear it. The weight of her position, her age, and her race pressed down on her shoulders. In this building filled with Harvard graduates and Silicon Valley veterans, she was about to suggest that she, a teenage cleaning lady, might have the answer to their most critical problem. She knocked gently on the glass door, her cleaning supplies still in hand. Mr. Henderson looked up with exhausted eyes, clearly annoyed at the interruption. The conference call he was about to join with emergency investors could determine the company's survival, and he had no time for cleaning schedules or maintenance requests. The moment stretched between them like an eternity. Keisha gathered every ounce of courage she possessed, knowing that her next words would either change her life forever or result in immediate termination. In the background, the error messages continued cascading across the screens, each one representing another step closer to the company's complete collapse. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead as Keisha prepared to speak, unaware that her observation would soon unravel a mystery that had stumped some of the brightest minds in technology. The cleaning cart beside her contained not just mops and disinfectants, but also the textbooks and notes she studied during her breaks, evidence of a brilliant mind trapped in circumstances beyond her control. Mr. Henderson glanced at his watch impatiently, then back at the young woman standing at his door. He had no idea that the solution to his company's greatest crisis was about to come from the most unexpected source imaginable, delivered by someone whose potential had been overlooked by everyone around her. Mr. Henderson's initial reaction was exactly what Keisha had expected. His tired eyes showed a mixture of irritation and confusion as he gestured for her to speak quickly. Behind him, the wall-mounted monitors displayed real-time data, showing the crisis deepening by the minute. Customer complaints had reached over 50,000, and the company's stock had dropped another 12% since midnight. Keisha cleared her throat nervously and spoke in a voice barely above a whisper. She explained that she had been inadvertently observing the error patterns while cleaning, and she believed she recognized the type of recursive loop causing the system failure. Her words came out rushed and uncertain, punctuated by apologetic phrases about overstepping her boundaries. The CEO's expression shifted from annoyance to bewilderment as this young, cleaning woman began discussing computational theory and algorithm design. She mentioned specific technical terms that most of his board members couldn't pronounce, let alone understand. Despite his exhaustion, something in her explanation caught his attention, particularly when she referenced the exact timestamp patterns he had been staring at for hours. Keisha pulled out a worn notebook from her cleaning cart, its pages filled with handwritten code snippets and programming exercises. With trembling hands, she showed him a diagram she had drawn during her break, illustrating how certain types of recursive functions could create infinite loops when specific conditions were met. The similarity to their current crisis was unmistakable. Mr. Henderson found himself in an unprecedented situation. His team of 50 engineers, each with advanced degrees from prestigious universities, had failed to identify the root cause of the problem. Now, a teenage maid was suggesting a solution based on community college coursework and self-study. The absurdity of the situation would have been laughable if the stakes weren't so devastatingly high. He called his chief technology officer, Dr. Sarah Chun, into the office immediately. Dr. Chin's reaction mirrored his own initial skepticism until Keisha began explaining her theory in detail. She described how the AI system's learning algorithm might have encountered a logical paradox in its decision tree, causing it to continuously loop through the same set of instructions without reaching a resolution. The technical discussion that followed was remarkable. Keisha, despite her nervousness, demonstrated a deep understanding of machine learning principles that impressed even Dr. Chun. She explained how the system's attempt to optimize its responses had likely created a feedback loop where each iteration made the problem worse instead of better, similar to a mathematical function that approaches infinity. What struck both executives was not just Keisha's technical knowledge, but her unique perspective on the problem. While the engineering team had focused on hardware failures and software bugs, she approached it from a theoretical standpoint, considering the philosophical implications of artificial intelligence trying to solve unsolvable problems. Dr. Chin pulled up the system's core algorithm on her laptop and asked Keisha to walk through her theory step by step. As the young woman pointed out specific lines of code and explained how they might interact under certain conditions, a pattern began emerging that the engineers had missed. They had been so focused on finding external